that time since LeBron James. It feels like a very long time ago, as Woj pointed out earlier. It really isn't that long ago, but look at the numbers. He's just missed so many games that it is impossible to really judge just how valuable he is. How good he is not up for debate, but how valuable he is very much is. And because this feels like such an important topic, we wanted to put together a little bit of a roundtable discussion. And I particularly wanted to have Louis Riddick in the conversation here as well, because he's a person in the talent evaluation world and the team building world and all the rest of that. We have Zach Lowe with us here, and I believe we have Louis as well, ready to go on this one as well, unless I'm being told that we don't have him quite yet. There he is. We have Louis and we have Big Perk with us as well. Little technical difficulties, but now we have them ready to go. So let me start with you, Louis. When you're assessing a player, and you follow the NBA as closely as anybody, but I really mean for this to go beyond just the specific case of Zion Williamson. When you're assessing a player, and you see the talent that he has, which might legitimately be one-of-one kind of stuff, but you understand all the other problems, which may very well include just how badly he wants to be great, especially with the contract he already has. How do you decide when it is time to cut bait in a situation like that?
Yeah, when you juxtapose this, Greeny, with a guy like Ja, right, they have two different kinds of issues, right, as far as I know. Now, I mean, I'm not an expert on basketball and these guys in particular, but from what I know, look, it's like this. Guys who have, I call it football character and personal character. Here we'll talk about basketball character and personal character. Basketball character means this. It's all the things that you guys have been talking about with Zion. Does he love the game? Does he want to commit to the game? Does he want to commit to his nutrition? Does he want to commit to taking his game to the next level? Does he want to set an example for everyone else, despite the fact that he has the security, he has the money? Does he want to be that forward-facing individual that puts the organization on his back and accept that responsibility? Well, to me, it sounds like the answer is no, 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 and no. So those kind of guys, when you juxtapose them with guys who have personal character issues, meaning they're hanging around the wrong people, making bad decisions off the field, off the court, maybe just being young and immature and dumb, I will give the benefit of the doubt to the guys who have personal character issues, who you can work with as far as their maturity, much more so than I will tolerate, or I can tolerate guys who just don't care, who just say, hey, you know what? I play this game because I'm good at it. I play this game because I make a lot of money. I don't really care about you. I don't really care about whether or not my body's in the perfect shape. I just don't care. And so that's when I start having issues and going, well, maybe we need to move on from this dude. Although in basketball, obviously, he's got a lot of guaranteed money. I'm sure it's not as easy as it is in football to move on. But those are the issues I have a hard time with.
Perk, he's preaching, isn't he?
He is. And when they get hot in First Street Baptist Church, those old ladies get the fanning themselves when they catch the Holy Spirit. And I'm glad I got my boy Lou on here right now, because here's the thing. I'm going to expand even further. I want y'all to think about the topics and the two guys that we're talking about today, right? We're talking about Zion Williamson and we're talking about Ja Morant.
Yeah.
Both guys have had distractions outside of basketball. Now, I want to go a bit further. When we talk about the trust issues, I want y'all to think about where the league is going and where it's trending right now. When you look at international players, when you look at the last five guys people that won MVPs, Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid. When you think about, can we trust these guys and hand them the keys to the car? Well, Jokic is not causing any problems off the court. Giannis is not causing you any problems off the court. We don't hear nothing about Joel Embiid off the court. And then all of a sudden, we see Victor Wembanyama, who's about to come over from France and be the #1 pick, who's one of one. I'm pretty sure he's going to come into the league, and we're not going to have problems with him off the court. We're not going to question whether he's dedicated to the game of basketball. We don't question whether they're going to do the right things and make sure that their nutrition and health is in place. Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid, I watched all three of those guys, even though Embiid have been through injuries. We have witnessed Embiid play on a torn meniscus. We see Giannis be reliable every single season, available, him and Jokic. So if I'm the American players right now, I need to be getting my act together on both inside the lines and outside the lines. Because right now, the international players are coming to the league and they're taking over the league. And rightfully so, because they earned the right, they earned the trust. And it's a damn shame that we got to come on here and worry about whether a guy can control his eating habits or whether or not what type of suspension a guy like Ja Morant, who had an opportunity to be the face of the league. That's very damn concerning.
That's a really interesting point. And Alan, before I give it to you, there's one other thing I think that should be pointed out here. But Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo in particular, neither one of them came in and were immediately the franchise. Right. So one thing that Zion Williamson and Ja Morant have in common is that they were drafted at the top of the draft into these very small market teams, into franchises without storied histories, and were immediately handed everything. They became the New Orleans Zions and the Memphis Morants immediately. And I'm not using that as an excuse for anybody or anything, but I think it must be pointed out in here that sometimes when everything is given to you, it is hard to then reinforce to someone, you need to earn this. If I give this to you, I'm just talking about the way I might, talk like a parent to a child. If I give you something, then what motivation is there for you to go and earn it anyway?
Yeah, my man Chris Canty always says it's hard to eat when you're full, right? When you have everything
hard to be hungry when you're full,
Right, you're not going to actually have to work for anything. And by both of those guys, it did get hot. Both of you guys brought the heat on those topics because, Perk, I've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks about the international players and how the torch is about to be handed to international players in the league as far as face of the league. And the American players got to pay attention to that. But these are two guys who both have maturity issues. They're just two different types of maturity issues. And if you're the Pelicans, you need to know if you can fix this problem or not. Because as I said, you're going to reach a point where it's going to be too late and the whole league's going to be in on it. The whispers are already out there. I've talked to enough people around the league that scout, that coach, that are also making front office decisions. And they all say the same thing. The red flag's are already there with Zion. They're in a dangerous place. They have to believe in him right now. They're going to believe in him right now. But they could come to a point where they look back to this year or even last year and say, we made a mistake. We should have cut bait when we had the chance.
All right. I'm really glad we did this. This is a topic that I think is so important in the sport right now. And again, we are anticipating, and Woj brought it up earlier, we're anticipating that we may hear something from the league. Well, we may hear very specifically what the discipline for Ja Morant is going to be today. It seems like a logical time for that news to come. We don't know it for certain. But one way or another, these two young stars both find themselves in different kinds of crossroads in their careers here. And I'm delighted that we had this kind of discussion about it, and it will continue. In the meantime, a reminder, the College World Series starts today in Omaha, Nebraska. Oral Roberts squaring off against TCU at 2 Eastern.